Touchdown Steelers! Tarinoita savolaisesta jenkkifutiksesta suomalaiselle jefukansalle. Steelersin kenttäkuuluttaja Erik Forsström ja kommentaattori Tuukka Heiskanen kronikoivat Kuopio Steelersin matkaa kohti Vaahteraliigaa. Steel won't bend. Tämä on Touchdown Steelers! Tänään on 28. päivä 3.2018 ja tämä on Touchdown Steelers podcast Savon kovimmasta jenkkifutiksesta. Minun nimeni edelleenkin on Erik Forsström ja täällä internetsin ihmemaassa studiossa minulla on myös mukanani edelleenkin Tuukka Heiskanen. Moro moro!
Terve, terve, ja tänään päästäänkin sitten pikkuhiljaa tutustumaan. No, setille on jo jutellut, mutta katsellaan kuka meillä tänään paljastaa itsestään salaisuuksia mahdollisesti.
Kyllä, kyllä. Nimittäin tuossa tosiaan Steelersillä oli nyt leiri viime viikon loppuna, ja siellä oli näitä useampia importteja, jotka nyt Vaahteraliigaa varten ovat Steelersiin liittyneet, niin olivat tulleet mukaan. Ja yksi näistä henkilöistä oli sitten tämä myös viime vuonna Steelersissä kovasti tilastomerkintöjä itselleen tahkannut Charles Wort, ja tämä vedetäänkin nyt sitten loppuhaastattelu tästä sitten englannin kielellä, joten eipä tässä muuta kuin, että welcome to the show, Charles, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, y'all, doing good.
We're very happy to have you here today. I was very glad to find out that you were joining us on the practice camp last week, and how was it? How did the camp look like?
It was great to get back. See all the team, see how everyone's doing, and then, start getting to work. And, it was a great camp. We had a lot of players show up, and, everyone's mind seems to be going in the right direction. Myself, I have big expectations for us this year. So I'm just trying to get everybody ready, kind of lead by example, and, have a lot of fun this season and win these games that everyone's, excited to see.
Great. Now, today we're going to go a little bit behind, to the man behind the name, so I'm just going to jump right on to the beginning. How was it that you actually got involved with American football? I think you're born in Britain, was that correct?
Yes, sir.
And when did you move on to the States?
I moved over there when I was 9. It was a week after my 9th birthday, so I know the date. And then ever since we got over there, football was a sport that I knew in England because my father used to play. Play for the London Olympians.
I see.
So, I had a little bit of knowledge of it before. He used to travel out to the States for his work, and then he would bring home the football that's a different shape. And you got used to throwing it, punting it. And then once we moved to the States, that was the sport that we wanted to play. My dad did everything for me. One year, my first year, me and my brother were on 2 different teams. So I would have to travel about 30 minutes, 40 minutes to go to a different team. And he took me to every practice, sat there and watched, was always there. And then the next year, went to the local team, and then just started building from there. Played all probably like 4 or 5 years in Rhode Island, and then we moved down to Texas. And my brother Tom, he was a big name, big hitter. And when we got down to Texas, people were thinking, Texas people are, superhuman. And my brother kind of just put the mentality in that they're all people and it doesn't matter, what you are, who you are. If you put in the work, you get the notoriety. And, we've just been a family that works hard and tries to have as much fun as possible. We're so close-knit that they're just super proud of me being over here and playing. And that's just the best part about it is, get a satisfaction from the people you love.
Sure. I can imagine. What's your fondest memory before your college days playing ball? Did you win a particular series or something like that?
Before college, I played for New Braunfels High School, and when you're growing up and you're learning how to become a man, you have a couple of memories that like really stand out, and maybe one of the ones that really stand out to me, even though it's kind of bizarre, is I was standing in a kickoff line, and I turned to my friend. His name's Bill, and he's just crying, and he's like, I've broken my ribs, and I'm like, are you good? Like, I'll call a timeout. We can get you a sub. He's like, I'm good. And then I was like, okay, I trust what you say. If you tell me you're good, you're good. And then he ran down and made the tackle on the kickoff. And then I don't know if he played the rest of the game, but like that memory just stands out to me. Putting your body on the line. It's a tough sport, and things do happen, but just being mentally strong. So that memory does stand out to me.
Sure. And how old were you when you went to college? I'm not familiar with.
I think I was 18 in high school, and then you go to be a freshman. I was probably 19 when I was a true freshman at UTSA.
So you went to UTSA. So for those who don't know American school abbreviations, can you?
Yes, it's the University of Texas at San Antonio. It was a new school that was playing Division I. So whenever I went there, they had played one season independent, and then we were in the WAC, Western Athletic Conference, and then we went 8-4. And then because we were a new team, we weren't bowl eligible because you have to play 2 seasons before you become bowl eligible. But yeah, we had a good season. Got to know a lot of good players out there. As far as the staff and all that, that's a different story. But it gave me life lessons that I've carried on into my like adult life. And I guess out of all the negative, some positives happened. So I'm not going to complain or harp on about what happened, but it was a good time. I had a lot of fun.
So team was successful. How about yourself? Playing in college, for example, compared to playing in Europe, how did you feel?
As far as that, I went out there. People kind of were expecting a lot from me because it was the school closest to my hometown. There's 2 schools. There's Texas State, and then there was UTSA. So those were the 2 main schools that were recruiting me out of high school. I had others, obviously, but I wanted to stay close to home so I could, have the, people behind me. And I ended up picking UTSA, and then we played, and, the last game of the season was when we played Texas State. So I started off, playing special teams, trying to get my, feet on the field, get my feet wet, and then ended up being the kick returner. So, being a true freshman and, being the person that they trust to put the ball in your hands the first play of the game was something big for me. And then, I was excited to, see what else I could do in college. But, things happen. And I decided to, end my football career and walk away from my scholarship because of things that the staff did. And then I kind of gave up on football. Football's a love-hate relationship. I definitely, what would I say? I definitely just kind of fell out of love with it. And then my brother, when he went to Italy, he called me and said, hey, our player's going away to go to a combine, and they want you to come out here and play. And I was like, hey, no, I'm good. I hung up the phone with my brother. Then he called me back 2 days later. He says, hey, you need to get out here. And I was like, okay. So then once I got back out, started playing again. I was like, yeah, I really enjoyed this. This is something I'm good at, and I put a lot of time and work and effort into it. So I just continued to play, and then ended up, get my name out there a little bit more, and then, just kind of progressed. It was something that I wasn't really planning, but then it kind of came to fruition by itself.
So you actually gave up your scholarship completely.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
did you manage to graduate at some point then? Or are you...
No, sir. No, sir. I gave up. I gave up on school. I gave up on all of that because I just kind of felt disrespected, and I felt like I could do life on my own. I wish that I had stayed in school and got my degree, but things happen, and things happen for reasons that you can't explain. That's another reason why there's a lot of people that kind of have a perception of me, but the perception so far from the reality of it that it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how people judge, but I'm all smiles. I'm all smiles as always.
No, I can respect that.
So you ended up in Europe kind of through your brother, and from what I found about your football career here over on this side of the Atlantic, you've been in Italy at Milan.
Yes, sir. I was in Milan.
Yeah, and then you've been in, I think, in Spain. If I'm correct, you've been in Spain and then Turkey and then to Finland.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain a little bit on your trip from from back in the States, getting the call from your brother, deciding to come over to Europe, and eventually all the way up here in the north?
Okay. Yeah. So my brother called me. He told me, "Hey, get out here," and I said, "Okay." So I did it. I went out there. I think it was the first quarter, my brother tore his ACL. So me and him literally got to play 15 minutes together, like on the same team. And when he tore his ACL, I ran out onto the field, and I was just like, I kind of knew what had happened before everybody else they were diagnosing him, and I already kind of knew what happened. So I was upset, and we were losing the game at the time. We were kind of playing one of the better teams in Milan. There's 2 Milan teams, and I told the boys, I said, "Hey, I don't care what happens the rest of the game, but they do not score on this drive. That's all I ask." And then, that next series, I had about 6 or 7 tackles, and then we got an interception. So that was that. Ended up losing the game. Continued to play, won games, and had a good time. And then got back home, back to Texas. Played a season with a semi-pro team just to stay in shape and get ready. I met a guy named Darrell Miller. He said, "Hey, you need to get a Euro Players account. If you're English, get that account and then start talking to teams." So was on there, got hit up by the GM or the recruiter from the Kovler Indians, Nicholas. He said, "You want to come over and play?" I said yes. Went over there and just kind of went to work. Nobody knew me out here, so it was kind of nice. And then just was all over the field, playing offense, defense, special teams.
This was in the Indians, right?
This was the Indians the first year, so I led the league in tackles, and then I went back to Texas. Then I got called from Osas Rivas, which is in Spain. Went to Spain. I guess they got demoted down to like a different league because some paperwork got missing, and there were the other teams they set back all of Madrid. All the teams in Madrid kind of got put to the wayside. So when that happened, I talked to management, and they said, "Hey, if you have any other teams that you want to go to, we recruited you to play in this league. Since we're not playing in that, you can go do what you need to do. So I contacted another coach that I was talking to at Coach University in Turkey. Ended up going over there. We played 2 international games. They were playing in the Turkish league, so I played the 2 international games. We won both of those. The first game was against a Russian team. Second was a team in Sweden. Beat them. Karlstad Crusaders beat them, which was, people didn't expect. And then we went on to the Final Four, and that was in Poland. Played that game, lost the first game against Milano Seaman, which was the team that I played against my first year in Europe. And then I went back to Kovla for my second season there.
This was in 2015, right?
This was in 2016, I think. This was 2 years ago, not last season, but the season before.
So you didn't actually play two consecutive seasons with Indians, but one that you just described, and then the other season, which was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I played a season 2 years ago, or I played my first season in Indians, and then I went to Spain, and then I went to Turkey, and then we played those 2 games, and then I went to the Indians, played a few games, and then I missed a game to go back to Turkey. And when I was in Turkey, I stayed there, and then I went to Poland, and then from Poland I went back to Finland to finish the season.
All right, so when you came back to Finland for the second time, to play again for the Indians. How did that? So it was like summer 2016 then, and if I'm reading this correctly, that wasn't the best season for the Kouvola Indians. It appears that according to the website here, Indians lost every single game on that season. Am I correct in this?
Yes, you're correct.
Well, of course, that probably wasn't the best possible season that you could have hoped for. But tell me a little about that particular year playing Finnish football.
It's tough. The players, every single one of them, I love them dearly. But just attention to detail, getting the right people in the right positions, and making the right decisions. It wasn't something that I felt was done. So it was a tough season. A lot of ups and downs. But I just focused on myself, and I try to make sure that other teams knew that even if I'm on the worst team, I'm thinking I'm the best player on the field, and I'm going to make plays regardless. So that was my mentality. Ended up playing against Kuopio. A lot of their players had real nice things to say to me during the game. And
when you say real nice, was it actually real nice, or are you being sarcastic here?
Yeah, real nice,
Okay,
people
cool.
being real nice on the field. And then I was just impressed. I was impressed because they had no imports, and then they gave me the toughest game as far as when I played the Wolverines, or I played the Huskies, or I played Jyväskylä. I felt like I was, all over the place, could do what I needed to do. And then whenever I was playing against Kuopio, I felt like without any imports, it was every yard was tougher to get. So I was just impressed by them, kind of how they looked getting off the bus. I was like, that's a lot of with no imports, and I was just like kind of impressed. I still gave them everything I could give, but
yeah, I actually remember that game. I announced that game too. It was like 26-24 was the final result there, and you were leading at the half 16-7.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And it was a lot tougher than we expected that game to be. And just like even if Indians lost every single game during that regular season, they definitely improved their game towards the end. That like they lost to Huskies 74-14, but then they lost to Steelers 26-24, and the last game against Wolverines was like 55-46 to Wolverines. So they definitely improved towards the end there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just kind of been playing against those teams before. I kind of imagine what I'm going to be able to do, and we did kind of click a little bit at the end, and we were, I always felt like we were in every game because there was people that could make plays, and there were some really decent players on Kovla, but when you're playing against teams with 40 players and you're getting off with 20 players, it makes it tough. But I'm just glad I got out healthy and got to elevate and show what I can do, and that's why I've been here. That's why we had a great season last year, and that's why we're going to have a great season this year.
Right. Let's move then to the Steelers season 2017. I'm just going to go first here. What was the actual impetus for coming to Steelers particularly?
What's the reason that I came to the Steelers?
Yeah.
As I said, I was just impressed by their team without any imports, and then they contacted me pretty much directly after the game and
Who
said,
contacted you?
Probably UC Freeman.
Sure.
He contacted me and said, "Hey, you're somebody that we're going to look at for next season." And I said, "Okay, let me know, what the situation is." I have other teams from the Maple League, contact me, and then some of them kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. So I just kind of decided I wanted to play in the Division I again, be with a team that I felt was stronger and could make me, be able to do what I wanted to do, and that's win.
Sure.
And kind of came here.
Did you get any other offers?
Yeah, I've had multiple offers from other teams in different countries, Maple League, Division I, and I just felt like this would be a good place for me. Didn't really know much about the city, anything like that, but I just knew the team had strong roots. And when I came here, I had that first game against the Wolverines. Didn't know the players, kind of knew what I could do, but I kind of had this idea that it would be easy. And then I got humbled real quick. That first quarter that I played, had some things going on in my life that, life. And then I was on the bus, back to Kuopio. And, I was just, real upset with myself and how everything got carried. And then just the next game, we played ECG. Had a game where I'm making plays on defense and then trying to get that trust back with the team, because it was tough that next week when they signed me to come here and be something, and then all I do is lose them the ball and give the other team 14 points. We ended up losing that game by 7. So I talked to Stan Bedwell and my friend Johnny Ashton, and they were like, "Well, you guys know you can beat them," because I told them, "Hey, yeah, did y'all see my first quarter?" They're like, "Well, y'all can beat them." And that's what we did. We kind of put that one aside, started the season with ECG, and then I had to play every team twice from that point on, and, you know what happened, so.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, and it seemed like the first game against Wolverines last season was very difficult for basically everybody on the team. You had some, like you said, some issues. Seth threw some bad balls, and in general, everything seemed at the beginning of the season on the first game to be kind of scatterbrained. But enough about that. At least to me, it seems that the Kuopio Steelers are, well, comparing back to before Pekka became the head coach, the Kuopio Steelers team and the culture within the team, the training schedules, all that seem very different to me. I played in 2014, and compared to 2017, 2018 Kuopio Steelers, I'd say it's been improving a lot, and in general, the culture within the team has changed a lot to the positive. You already said that some stuff like how when you were in the Indians, you saw Steelers getting off the bus and stuff like that being, all that. And when you came here to Kuopio to practice, to do the everyday grind, how was it for you in general all throughout the season, going into practice every week, dealing with the coaches, such as?
It was good. I said before, everybody had nice things to say to me when I played with Kouvola, and then I get into the locker room and have the players that I had played against, and and then I'm on their team now, so they get to see the different side of me. They get to see what I'm like off the field. They get to hang out with me, talk, know about my life, know about my family, know about the people I love, and then I got real, like the family vibe here is like something that's awesome. I know every player's name. I know, their families. I know everything about them. And it's just something that, I'm so thankful for. And, it's been so nice. And, like, that's why I signed for a second season here. Got out here early so I can make sure that everybody's on the right track. And, hang out with my friends and, do what I love and get my body to what I want it to be before the season. I have a player that I room with now who I played with in Kouvola for 2 seasons. So he's my roommate. So me and him he's the fullback, and hopefully I become the running back. And if you've played against us, it's like, we're 2 big bodies. It's gonna be tough once the season comes and we're coming downhill. It's a wrap. There's nothing that these Maple League teams are going to be able to do to stop what we're trying to do. That's just facts.
Yeah. Then one interesting thing, for at least to me personally, is you played last season. You played against your old team, the Indians, and at least over in the States, when it comes to the NFL, there's this super big hype about players having their rivalry games against their old teams and whatever. How was it for you here in the first division last year?
It was good. We had the first game was away. So I went back to Kouvola and get off the bus, and it's like you see your old team, the people that you've hung out with for 2 summers, and maybe they thought maybe I would be a little bitter and not go up and say hello and give them hugs, but I loved everybody that was there, and I had a good time. And then I had to put on a Steelers helmet and play against them, and some things happened during the game, and you just you got to put all the stuff that people may be saying, all that to the side, because they're going to say that anyway. So you just put it to the side, play your game. I scored twice, and the thing was I didn't celebrate. After those touchdowns because one reason why was because one of the imports that I played with the first year, he's not with us anymore, and it was like I'm not going to disrespect, my old team or do anything that's going to make me seem like a bad person, because I don't know. That was my mentality that game. It's like, life's bigger than football. That's what people don't understand is people on the field, they're trying to, hurt you or do this and do that. And it's like life's a lot bigger than football. If you don't believe that football is your whole life, then, you got your priorities messed up.
Right. So this is a tad loaded question, perhaps. I'm going to combine these two that I had written myself beforehand, but the spaghetti bowl, which we ended up winning, I'm just guessing that you had a bit of a roller coaster of emotions during that game, since we actually won the championship. With 7 attempts, you gained 133 yards, 2 touchdowns, and you got the MVP, but you got thrown out of the freaking game. I actually didn't. I mean, this is on me, of course. I was announcing the game, and I actually missed that you were, disqualified from the game or thrown out or whatever the term is. I realized that only later, and I was like wondering, why is Charles running to the field to get the MVP trophy when I called out your name? So that was rather funny personally, but please do tell about what you went through during the spaghetti bowl specifically.
Yeah, spaghetti bowl. We had won our playoff game against Vascular at home, and we were the number 1 seed. So the Wolverines had to come up to us and play us here. First drive or second drive, I got a pick, and then I scored, and then the referees said I went out of bounds. And if you look on the film, I turn up the sideline and I'm running straight down the sideline. So how me being a football player who, rarely steps out of bounds, when I'm running, I know the field. I've played this game for, 10, 12 years. How's a player that knows the field, who's just ran over the corner, gonna step out of bounds and then run straight down the sideline, not come back, kind of curl back in? I've made my play and I've gone down. So they say, oh, no touchdown, you stepped out of bounds. So right there it was like, I don't know about this, and it seemed like every single time that we got a big play, there was a flag. It seemed like every time we were doing something good, there was a flag. And on the stats, it's like, they penalize both teams the same, but what you don't know is that every time we got flagged, it was on like a first down or, on a big gain or something like that. And then every time they were penalized, it was when they had a drop pass or when they, so it seemed like the just refs were against us. But I've said to people, it's like, if you play on one team, you play on the other team, it kind of seems like the ref make bad decisions and,
exactly. Either it's a coincidence or an honest mistake or an extremely interesting conspiracy that's like really hard to explain what's going on. So I'd rather go with the former option.
Right. Yeah. So I give them the benefit of the doubt. I always talk to the referees before the game. Kind of, just kind of touch base and say, yeah, how's your day? Thank you for doing this for us. So I try to make a good, relationship with the referees before the game because it'll help you out in the long run if, they know you and know how you play. So referees probably know my name from before the game. I think what had happened was there was in the ECG game, which was the last game of the season, there was a play where, I'm running to the ball. I'm thinking the corner is going to make the tackle. He doesn't make the tackle. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I just, I put my body into the lane. And the receiver that I've hit isn't aware that I'm right there to hit him. And I kind of teed off on him. And then after that, their coaching staff and their players are, kind of online saying all this stuff, like I'm a dirty player, all this. But when I'm playing, I hear their coaches saying, "Hurt that guy, take that dude out, do this," and it's like, you guys can try, but good luck. So I think that kind of transition, along with all the online stuff, kind of went into the next game against Uvascula. I dislocated my finger, so I actually left the game after the second quarter, started the second quarter, so I didn't play the rest of that game. And then going into the Spaghetti Bowl, I felt like they had this idea. They told the referees, hey, if Charles ever does a hit that's illegal, we're warning you that he's going to hit hard or he's going to do something that's, out of the rules. So,
that particular tackle in the spaghetti ball when you hit a receiver catching the ball, and if you just watch it really quickly, it looks like that you're going head first in it, but when you actually look at the film, it's a completely legal hit in my opinion. And there was this whole quote going around that particular call from the referees was decided on the gridiron comment section or something
online.
Yeah.
I played this game. I played it for 12 years. I know what's legal. I know what's not legal. The thing is, I'm going to play the game like I play every other game. I'm trying to win. So there's times where, say there's a punt. So they're punting to us. I'm running down the field to cover. My dad taught me, you keep your head on the swivel. I don't care who you are. You keep your head on the swivel because this is a full contact sport and you're wearing, you don't wear €1,000 worth of equipment because it's a safe game. It's not tennis. We're playing football. We're playing a full contact sport. And, players do get hurt. You watch it time and time again in high school, college, NFL, Europe, Little League, all that. Things do happen on the field that are freak accidents. But if you play fundamentals and you do the right things, you avoid injuries. And whenever that particular play, I'm playing right safety. They ran kind of a post and he was kind of he kind of ran a post, but he's kind of coming towards my side of the field. So he's gone through the corner, the free safety, and I was playing the other safety, and he's gone through those guys. So whenever he's going up to make the play, all I'm doing is getting from where I'm at on my side of the field to try and make a play on the ball.
Mm.
They threw the ball up. I think Robert threw the ball up. He's put more air under it. So I've looked back at the ball. I'm looking at the ball. I'm looking at the receiver. And I'm timing up. As soon as the ball touches his hands is where my body is going to be square up with him. And I'm going to just, put my hit in, take what's mine. The pictures show it. I have my shoulder out. My shoulders square on the ball, square of his chest. And as soon as he touches it, I've just, kind of put in my piece. And I get down. I see the ball's kind of gone up. I spin up, and then I see a flag drop. So then I'm like, okay, what's the flag for? Obviously. And then the player kind of got up and then fell down again.
It was a hard hit.
Yeah, it was a hard hit. I knew when I hit him, he wasn't going to get up. I hit him square flush. The hit doesn't look like it was a big hit on film, but in the time when I'm giving him the contact, I'm knowing he's not going to get up because they shouldn't have thrown that ball. That's not on me for hitting him. That's on the quarterback for throwing it to him when somebody's coming to lay the wood. And as I said, the flag got thrown. Okay, we'll take that. It's not like, we can't have the 15-yard penalty and go. But then they throw me out. And that was my first personal foul at that game, so I don't know how it is. But the fact that I get thrown out for a complete legal hit is it's frustrating. So I kind of walked off the field. I told the fans, I was like, we're going to win anyway, so it's all good. I went to the locker room. I gave the referee a little bit of my feelings of it. I was like, you guys are trash. I don't know what, they've said or done, but you shouldn't have thrown me out. Took off my pads, and then all I hear was the crowd go ballistic. They're all started screaming, and then I'm looking kind of from the locker room out, and I'm just seeing Tino run the other way.
Oh,
and then I hear
that was such a play.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So then I didn't know what was happening on the field, but then I'm just seeing one of our players running the other way. So I'm like, okay, it's a wrap. You've had the referees give you everything this game, and then it's like, see you, Tino, see you in the end zone. You know, it is what it is. You know, we won the game. I was happy. As I said, I got my game cut short because, you know, players are intimidated. You know, their players knew that when they play me, you know, you're gonna get hit. And it's like, if to be honest, it's like if you're just intimidated by me, why not just give us 21 points and then I won't play. You know what I mean? If you're that intimidated, why don't you just, you know, bargain with us before the game? Hey, yeah, you can't play, but we're going to give you 21 points. Okay. Because that's what I feel like I bring to it. It's like, I'm going to make plays on defense. I'm going to stop you from scoring. And then when I get the ball, I'm going to run over you and get to the end zone. So it's like, if you don't want me to play, shit, let's talk about it before the game, and we'll see what business you're trying to do. But if we're playing the game and I'm playing, I'm giving you the business. So that's just my mentality. So,
well, you're gonna be facing up a little bit harder caliber this season. I'm just gonna say one small thing about the whole referee situation. I understand that you gave the comment that they're trash while being very emotional, probably about the whole thing. But the whole topic of refereeing American football in Finland, it's a kind of a never-ending hot topic because it's not easy, and that particular situation, I mean, they're only human, and it really looked really hard, and my first reaction when I saw the hit from the booth, I wasn't sure if that was clean or not, because on my angle it looked like you had your freaking head going straight into it. So it's completely possible that even if the referee was definitely closer than I was, that he managed to catch the glimpse that looked like that you were going in head first. But there's like no question about it later on when you watch it on film. But still, you still kind of have to hold the respect and give the benefit of the doubt to the referees who are doing the job, because otherwise we don't have a game. We don't have a game.
Right. That's what I mean. You know, obviously when I'm saying that, I'm fired up. I'm emotional. But after the game, I shook every single referee's hand. I said thank you for refereeing the game, because as you said, you don't have a game without them. It's just it's frustrating when you play the game and then you kind of get, I don't know. It is what it is. But
it's a whole balance of the thing that this game is very, very physical, and you kind of want to hit very hard, but on the other hand, you also have to protect the players. That if we really went all in this game, it would be like a light version of the UFC where people would be spearing other players and everyone would get injured all the time. So there has to be this kind of weird balance, because otherwise, well, again, we don't have a game.
Yeah, there's two things I got to say about that. The thing is, if I start playing to protect the other team, I'm gonna hurt myself. So say I'm doing that exact same play, and instead of just giving the hit that I'm trying to address, that if I ease up right as he's contacting me, I'm gonna have him running into me at top speed. Whereas if I'm running into him at full speed and he's running into me at full speed, the less likely you are to actually get hurt. The player that I did hit came up to me after the game and goes, "Hey man, thank you for not, really taking me out, because if I had taken him out the way that I could have, just because I wanted to hurt the player, that hit would have looked completely different. I mean, as soon as he left the air, I would have, subbed him, and then he would have got flipped, and he wouldn't have even touched the ball. The thing is I've timed up as he's catching it, and then as soon as he's touching it, I'm hitting him. Yeah, okay, he did stay down for a bit, but he ended up playing, after that. So people get winded, get the air knocked out of them, they go back in. This would be my thing that I thought about after the game, is if a player gets ejected, then the player that, you know, is on the other team that caused the ejection, he shouldn't have to play the rest of the game. Now, all of this is all just, you know, kind of hearsay talk, and like it was just a conversation we had after the game when I was out with some players and we were talking. And then the other thing was it shouldn't be an automatic ejection for a hit like that, especially when I had no other prior penalties. Like some players, the thing is, I also see some players, you know, the Finnish players sometimes, obviously not always Finnish, but, you know, some players make dirty tackles and dirty plays and stuff, but it's just because their, you know, their knowledge of the game isn't full, so they're just trying to put their head into the pile or do something like that. So, you know, that play was frustrating because I knew that I didn't hit him with my head, and he knew I didn't hit him with his head. Their whole team knew I didn't hit him with my head. So that's that. As I said, it was a game. We ended up winning. We're in the Maple League now. You know, we got bigger business to deal with than the Helsinki Wolverines. So it's on to bigger and better opponents, bigger stage, bigger names, bigger players, and I'm excited. So, you know, let's get after it.
Excellent. That's a great note to end this part. We got a couple of a bit easier questions for you. Take it away, Tuukka.
Yeah, so I thought to end this podcast on a little bit of a lighter note.
Hey, perfect.
So I'm gonna ask you a couple of seemingly non-related questions, but they're relevant to some. For example,
perfect, because
I'm
getting heated talking about this.
So yeah, first of all, how do you like Kuopio in general? I don't think we've touched on that. As a city, as in general populace, Väinönniemi, everything.
Yeah,
how do you feel about Kuopio?
Whenever I came to Finland, it took a little bit of time to figure out the people. You know, there's definitely, you can tell when you're speaking to, like now I can definitely tell when I'm talking to somebody who's Finnish. Even if they're speaking English to me the whole time, I'll know it. So it was an adjustment period, you know, coming to Finland, different culture, different ways of lifestyle. You guys have to deal with the snow, all that. Kuopio is an awesome city. You know, it's real beautiful. Downtown, you have the market. I got my gym, you know, the place I go eat at, the harbor, you know, the trees, the stadium, you know, the coaches, the places we train at. It takes a little time to get used to it, and that's kind of why I felt last season it was kind of hard, you know, moving to a new place. That's what people don't understand is, you know, when you're from England, but you grew up in America and you lived in, you know, different countries and you've learned to, you know, kind of mesh in with people. It's tough on import sometimes to, you know, you're away from home, you know, you're beat up from the games, you don't have your friends, you know, it's tough. But because I've done this for so many times, you know, it's getting easier every single time. And as I said, when I came back here, walk into the locker room, the players all know me. I'm not unfamiliar with the city. I love the city. So just seeing all the old things, it was real awesome. When I came in from the train, you know, I passed, you know, all the sites that I was like, okay, I know where I'm at now. After being on on my trip, it was like a whole day trip, and then finally getting to somewhere where you know and you're comfortable with, it's awesome. You know, I love it. So yeah, it's good.
So actually, have you been in Finland at like this early in the year before?
No, I've never been here where there was like actual snow on the ground.
Yeah.
On the ground. It's
So-
On this winter, we really have some snow.
right.
Like,
Right,
really. I'm honestly having a lot of trouble finding places to plow this god freaking... I'm just gonna shut up now.
Yeah. But so if there's anybody who's not from Kuopio listening to the podcast, currently it's the end of March and we have roughly, I'd say, 60-70 centimeters of snow. So, well, I don't know what's that in American
It's like
units.
4 feet. It's like
Yeah.
4 feet.
But it's an insane amount of snow, even for Finnish people, especially at this time of year. So I can just imagine how you're feeling currently about the weather.
Yeah,
Coming from
no.
Texas and Italy and Spain and Turkey and whatever. So.
The thing is, I hate the cold. You can ask my girlfriend. I hate the cold, but because there's snow on the ground, I feel like it's okay. That's how I've put it. I hate the cold, but because there's snow, it makes everything white, and I don't know. I literally thought I would have more problems with it, but it seems like ever since Texas got here, the snow started to stop. So hopefully I brought the Texas weather with me.
Yeah, well, speaking of Texas, I know one thing that Finland has more of than Texas has, and that's snow. But
Yeah, for sure.
when it comes to Texas, everybody says that everything's bigger in Texas. So, is that true?
I don't know, man. We did have snow this year in Texas for a couple of days. I went outside. I made a snowman in Texas. So, I don't know. I guess that goes just all the climate change and all that. Like, you got to be prepared for the worst, and everything
This will
bigger
be
in
the
Texas.
first and only time I'm gonna bring politics into the show. But did you not know that global warming is a devious conspiracy set up by the Chinese?
I don't know, man. I have my own views on it. I just think there's different. You're definitely gonna have different seasons, and there's gonna be more water one year, and then there's gonna be less water the next year. So I just think
I'm just gonna say duh to that.
Yeah, right. But
Yeah.
the world's gonna do what the world needs to do, and as long as you take care of everything, you should be all right. It's our job to take care of this planet. So whatever you need to do, that's what you need to do. So.
All right, one last thing. And one thing I need you to do if you haven't done it already. Do you know
What's
this? Do you know this specific, cuisine from Kuopio? Also
Is it
known as
kalakukko?
kalakukko. Yes. Have you
Yes,
had
I
it?
do. I actually have had it. Whenever I was in Kouvola, we had a player who was like, we did like a publicity thing. And it was right before we played Kuopio, because I guess that's the biggest thing here. So I said, like, Kalakukko doesn't fly or something like that in the translation. And, yeah, I heard about it a lot on the field. So, I've had it, but I've had the moiku here, the little fish. They're super tasty. I kind of have when I go out and have a few soft drinks when I'm walking home. I stop off and I get me a kebab, and then I tell them to add on some moiku on top. So then I wake up in the morning feeling great with fish tails everywhere in my room.
I actually have one more question, and I know that Tuukka is going to agree with this as well. And since we have now been listening about your history and getting to know you a little bit better, I'm just not going to let it all come down on this one single very important question. How do you feel about the New England Patriots as a football team?
There's a correct answer to this question.
Yes, there is definitely a correct answer to this question.
Hey.
And I hope you don't know which one it is.
Hey, no, trust me, I know exactly what the answer is. The tuck rule that gave the Raiders not their fifth
Deflate game.
championship. Brady fumbled the ball, and they kind of get babied. But I lived in Rhode Island whenever they were on their hot streak, and they're a good team. And their coach makes sure that all the players are held accountable. So that's why they're successful. And when you're an Oakland fan, it gets tough sometimes, but you got to respect what they do as a team and how they handle themselves. And it's kind of hard to beat the Patriots sometimes. I guess that's the way to say it.
But they suck, though.
Yeah, for sure. Oakland all day.
Right. On a less sarcastic note, are you a fan of any particular teams in the NFL?
Yeah. Oakland Raiders.
Sure.
All day. Yep.
All right.
Got our favorite player, Marshawn. good luck to all the Raider players. I'll be watching from over here. Make sure you do what you need to do, stay healthy, and that's my team. So that's my team.
I'm sure a lot of those players are listening to the local Kuopio podcast about American
always.
football.
They have to be, and if
you
they
gotta
don't,
share this to them, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. I got you.
Yeah, last time when Seth Peters was here, no, not last time, but the third show we did, I think. It's the first one that I actually got American coverage on my show, so now I'm an international radio star.
There you go.
Right, so.
We're gonna get this going higher and higher and higher. Yay. I promise you that.
Well, hey, thank you very much for this interview, Charles. It was very interesting to learn about you and especially your thoughts about this whole the controversy of the notorious Charles Wort, so to speak. Yeah.
No, it's been great. Thank you. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. So maybe we can do this again after we beat all these teams.
Sure thing. I promise you that if we beat every single team in the Maple League, you will be the first guy on this show. Just because we made that deal. So now you just gotta win every single game.
I'll see you in September 21st.
Excellent. All right.
Alrighty.
Sure. I think that pretty much covers it. So, I think I'm going to skimp on the whole news thing because this was a pretty long show.
Oh, my bad.
No worries,
it's good. It's
no
good.
worries. It's always great when the guest actually has a few things to say that we don't have to, coax everything out of the guy.
True.
So, that's it. Thanks to Charles, thanks to Tuukka, and on that note, touchdown Steelers over and out.
Thank you.